Have you ever looked at a celebrity and thought their life was perfect? In today's video, you will hear Emma Stone's story, told by Emma herself. A story of fear, rejection, laughter, tears, and finally, success. Get ready, because this is not just the story of a Hollywood actress. It is the story of a young girl who never gave up on her dream. Chapter 1: My Childhood in Arizona. My name is Emma Stone. I was born in Scottsdale, Arizona in 1988. I was a little girl with freckles, loud laughter, and so much energy. My father owned a construction company, and my mother stayed at home to take care of me and my younger brother. Life was simple in Arizona, with sunshine, desert air, and long rides in the car. But I was not a quiet child. I loved talking, telling jokes, and acting out little dramas in front of my family. I used to put on costumes from my toy box and pretend I was a queen, a witch, or a hero. My parents laughed and clapped, but deep inside, I felt something stronger. I wanted to do this forever. I wanted to act not only in my living room, but on a real stage. When I was in school, I had a tough time with panic attacks. Sometimes I could not breathe. I was scared of many things, and my heart would beat very fast. My parents worried, but they also noticed that acting made me calm. When I performed in front of people, the fear disappeared. Acting was not just fun, it was medicine for me. One day when I was 11, I told my mom and dad, I want to move to Los Angeles and become an actress. They smiled, but I could see they thought I was too young. Still, I didn't give up. I started planning my future, even though I was just a kid with a big dream. Chapter 2: The PowerPoint that changed my life. At 14 years old, I felt ready to take a big step. I wanted to convince my parents to let me go to Los Angeles. I made a plan that was both funny and serious. I created a PowerPoint presentation called Project Hollywood. I showed slides with pictures, reasons, and even a plan of how I could go to auditions and still study. My mom and dad watched me standing there, giving my business pitch. I was shaking but also smiling. I told them, "This is my dream. Please give me one chance." My mom was touched. My dad laughed but said, "Okay, let's think about it." That night, I couldn't sleep because I knew my life was about to change. Finally, my mom agreed to go with me to Los Angeles. She left everything behind, her home, her comfort, and her routine, just to help me chase my dream. We moved into a small apartment in LA. It was exciting, but also scary. The city was big, full of cars, and full of people who also wanted to be stars. I started auditioning. At first, I heard the word no again and again. Casting directors would smile and say, "Thank you," but I never got the call back. Some days I cried in the car with my mom, but she always said, "Emma, one day they will say yes. Just wait." Her words gave me strength. Chapter 3: My First Breaks and Heartbreaks. In Los Angeles, every day felt like a battle. I went to audition after audition, sometimes 5 in 1 week. I had to read lines, smile, and pretend I was confident, even when I was shaking inside. Rejection was normal, but it hurt every time. My first real job was a TV show called In Search of the New Partridge Family. It was not a big success, but for me, it was everything. I was on TV. I felt like the dream was finally real. But soon after, the show ended, and I was back to square one. Then came more small roles on television. I played little parts, sometimes just one scene, sometimes just one line. It wasn't glamorous, but it was training. I learned how the cameras worked, how the directors spoke, and how fast the industry moved. Still, there were nights when I lay in bed thinking, maybe I will never make it. Maybe this dream is too big for me. But then I remembered how acting made my fear go away. I told myself, Emma, keep going, even if it takes years. That promise kept me alive inside. Chapter 4, My Big Break in Hollywood. When I was 19, I moved to Los Angeles. I did not know anyone there. I was scared, but I also felt excited. I went to auditions almost every day. Sometimes I had to wait in long lines with hundreds of other girls. Most of the time, the answer was no. I felt sad, but I never stopped trying. I told myself, maybe tomorrow will be my yes. Finally, I got a small role in a movie called Superbad. It was a comedy, and I had to play a funny, smart girl. When the movie came out, people laughed at my scenes. They remembered me. It was not a big role, but it was the start of something. After that, I got parts in other movies like Zombieland. Every movie gave me a little more hope. But life in Hollywood was not always easy. Sometimes people told me I was not pretty enough, or my voice was too strange. I had a husky, deep voice that made me different. At first, I thought it was a weakness. Later, I realized it was my strength. People remembered me because I was not like others. When I was offered the chance to play an Easy A, I knew this was my moment. It was my first big lead role. I worked hard on every line, every joke, and every scene. When the movie released, people loved it. They said I was funny, charming, and fresh. Suddenly, Hollywood knew my name. I was not just a girl from Arizona anymore. I was Emma Stone, the actress. Chapter 5, The Road to an Oscar. After Easy A, I started getting bigger roles. I played Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man. Working with Andrew Garfield was special. We became close friends, and people loved our chemistry. But with fame came pressure. Everywhere I went, cameras followed me. I missed my simple life in Arizona, where nobody cared if I wore pajamas outside. Then came the movie Birdman. It was a strange artistic film, very different from anything I had done. I played a troubled daughter, full of anger and love. People said it was one of my best performances. For the first time, I was nominated for an Oscar. I did not win, but just hearing my name at the Academy Awards felt like a dream. I told myself I would keep going. A few years later, I got a script called La La Land. It was about love, dreams, and heartbreak in Los Angeles. It felt like my own story. I danced, I sang, I laughed, and I cried in that film. Every day on set felt magical. When the movie came out, it touched millions of hearts. People cried because they saw their own dreams in it. Then the moment came. I was at the Academy Awards, and they announced, and the Oscar goes to Emma Stone for La La Land. My heart stopped. I walked on stage, my hands shaking. I thanked my family, my director, my co-stars. I looked at the golden statue and thought of little Emily from Arizona, standing on stage, holding her biggest dream in her hands. Chapter 6: Life Beyond the Screen. Winning the Oscar was not the end. It was just a new beginning. Fame gave me power, but it also gave me responsibility. I wanted to use my voice to help others. I spoke about women in Hollywood, about equality, about fair chances. I wanted young girls to know they could dream big, just like I did. My personal life also grew. I fell in love with Dave McCary, a writer from Saturday Night Live. He was kind, funny, and different from the Hollywood world. In 2020, we got married in a simple, quiet ceremony. Later, I became a mother to a beautiful daughter. Holding her for the first time was even greater than winning an Oscar. I felt my life was complete. But my story is not over. I still act, still chase roles that challenge me, still take risks. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I succeed. That is life. What matters is that I never gave up. I never let fear or doubt stop me. I kept moving forward, step by step, until I reached where I am today. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say, Emily, do not worry about the world. Follow your heart. The road will be hard, but every step will be worth it. And if I could speak to you, the one listening now, I would say, no dream is too big. If a girl from Arizona can win an Oscar, then your dream can also come true. This was my story, Emma Stone's journey. I was a girl full of fear, but I found my strength in acting. I faced rejection, but I never stopped trying. And in the end, my dream came true. Remember, if I could do it, you can too. Never stop believing in yourself. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories in simple English.